Hey, what's up? Ian here, and this is the Tripowin Piccolo and 11mm dual cavity LCP dynamic driver IEM. Its retail price is $35 and is available on Linsol's website, so do check out the unaffiliated link in the description below if you are interested. Now in this video, I'm going to share with you guys my user experience, sound impression, I'll compare it with another IEM, and I'll conclude if this is worth your $35 or not. Now this video will be timestamped, so please feel free to skip around. Right, so let's start off with the accessories. I already done the unboxing, and if you're interested to watch that video, do click on the link above. Now it comes in a very nice box like this, and inside this box you'll find the warranty card, ear tips, and the cable and the IEM itself. This IEM comes in two colors. It's got the black, alright, so this is the matte black, and the other color is the silver, and this is how it looks like. Let me just show you. And this is the silver color. It's got a mirror-like finish, unlike the black, so it's a total opposite. The matte black does not attract fingerprints. I can't say the same for the silver. Okay, alright, so let's talk about the ear tips. I'm not a fan of the ear tips. The flange is a little bit on the thin side. The inner core is also a bit flimsy, and it's pretty hard to install this ear tip on the IEM itself. So I would suggest to use your own personal ear tips if you were to get this. Okay, next would be cable. Cable is a 4-core cable. It's a twisted cable. Cable's not bad, it's pretty good. It doesn't fall upon itself and tangle up. So yeah, pretty good quality cable, and it's not very grippy, it's not very smooth as well. It's somewhere in between. It's pretty good. It terminates with a straight type 3.5 headphone jack. It's got a wide splitter, chin slider, all the works. And the ear hooks are fine. It's nice and soft. Okay, so pretty okay cable for $35. All right, no complaints there. As for the IEM, is very unique. IEM has got a very unique faceplate. It's got like a raised texture kind of thing, and the design of the texture is pretty nice. Okay, so pretty unique. And on the inner shell is, well, I think the whole thing is made of metal. Yeah, the inner shell is made of metal as well, and it's got left and right indication. It's got a vent somewhere on top here. I'm not too sure if it's a vent, but yeah, another vent here. And then the nozzle is made of brass. Okay, it's not really part of the shell itself. It's inserted, and let me just show you the ear tips. It's so difficult to go in, and it's too flimsy, and yeah. Okay, anyway, that is for the design of this IEM. Is very nice. I like the design of the IEM. Okay, now let's talk about fit and comfort. It fits me really well, and it is very comfortable to wear, so I have no complaints there. There's no odd shape to the design. There's no sharp edges or corners that will hurt my ear. Doesn't do that, so it's pretty good. And overall seal on this, it depends on the ear tips. When I was using my CP 1.5, gave me a very good seal. So yeah, seal's pretty good if you were to use the right ear tips. Okay, right, so let's talk about sound. Right, drivability. So this earphone is pretty easy to drive. Okay, no problems driving these earphones, and I do recommend some of the source to complement this earphone. And let's talk about the dongles first. Okay, the dongles that I would recommend, because this earphone is a pretty smooth and musical earphone. Okay, so I would recommend something like the FC6. Okay, it doesn't have to be this model, but any dongle DAC that has got a warm sound and more musical sound, that will be very complimentary to this earphone. I wouldn't recommend something like the M15, which is more neutral or natural sounding. Okay, as for players, I would recommend the Sony player. Right, so this would be a warm and smooth and rounded type of sound delivery to the earphones, so it's complimentary. I wouldn't recommend something like the Shanling M0 Pro. Okay, so this is more of a dry, lean sound delivery, so I wouldn't recommend that for this earphone. Okay, so these are the few dongle decks and players that I would recommend for this Tripowin Piccolo. Alright, now let's talk about sound. For the price to performance, this performs really above its price, $35 US. Sounds really smooth, and the music just glides, and it's very casual listening, musical earphone. Okay, so yeah, it's worth and it's value for money for the $35 US. As for the technicalities of this IEM is soundstage is wide. Okay, it's not the widest, it's pretty tall but not the tallest. Okay, so soundstage is average. Okay, natural, pretty natural. It's got good depth and good layers as well. Sound separation is good. I can hear most of the instruments on their respective positions, so it's pretty good. Imaging is good as well, and detail retrieval, well, it's actually very good because the tuning, if I'll show you the tuning later, but the tuning of this is not too bass heavy. It's also pretty light on the treble. Detail retrieved would be okay, but it's actually pretty reasonable. Okay. As for the resolution, overall resolution on this has a very good resolution. Overall, a very resolving IEM with the LCP dynamic driver being on this IEM. Okay, right. So let's talk about the sound signature. The tone and timbre for this is warm, it's heavy in note weight, and it's kind of a V-shaped kind of tuning. So I'll show you the graph, and you guys can see. Let me just prop it up here, and Alright, so this is the graph of the Tripowin Piccolo. The bass is quite different from other IEMs that I've tried, and the treble as well is actually quite unique, right? It's quite a niche tuning, and the only IEM that I find quite close to this is the Truth Ear Hola, and for that, that one sounds pretty good. So when I compare them side by side, they sound pretty similar. It's just that this one has got less bass. But overall, this is like a U-shaped tuned and mid-bass type of centric kind of IEM. Okay, right. So let's talk about the sound signature. Right. So the sub bass is pretty linear. Right. It's not elevated. In fact, it's less than the treble. So when I listen to this IEM, it's not a bass heavy IEM, and it's pretty shy. Okay, but it's there. It's a good thumpy bass. I mean, it's complementary to the overall frequency, because this sub bass is not overwhelming. So when I listen to my songs, I hear the mids a bit more, and a bit more of the mid bass as well. Okay, so the rumble is there. It's got a pretty light note, but it's warm sounding. At the same time, it's pretty present. Okay. For the mid bass is present. Okay, it's got prominent presence, and it's thumpy, warm, heavy, and it bleeds a little bit to the mids. Okay, so this mid bass is a fast bass. It glides into the mids. All right, it veils the mids, but it's again not that much. I mean, it's pretty U-shaped. All right, it's not a lot. Okay, so a pretty nice, fast, warm bass. Okay, for the lower mids, it's veiled. Right, it's veiled by the mid bass, but it's still clear. It's got good details, and it's warm sounding. So instruments like the pianos and the violins, guitars, they've got presence, and they sound smooth as well. So very forgiving mids, and they're present as well, based on the fact that the sub bass is not too present, so it's not overwhelming, and it gives the space for the mids to shine. For vocals, male vocal sounds really good on this. Female vocals, not so much. Alright, so male vocals got more presence and more authority in the mix, and they sound warm. They got good note weight, and sounds natural as well, and sounds smooth, very smooth sounding. For female vocals, they lack a little bit of that presence. They have that energy there. They've got that bite there. It's just that they sound a little bit laid back, a little bit, I don't know, muted or veiled, yeah, something like that. But they've got good presence and good energy. Alright, so let's talk about treble. Treble, the peanut gain is pretty okay. It's just that it plateaus out somewhere around the 2K region, and this part here is where the bite is, right? It's where the energy comes in. It's a little bit plateaued out, or leveled out for this part. So that's why I say, you know, for female vocals, they sound a little bit veiled, all right, a little bit laid back because of this region here, and also the next region, which is the presence. This part here, you can see the big dip here, and this gives a presence of the treble a very laid back type of feel, and also makes this entire IEM non-shouty, non-sibilant, and non-shrilly, and not harsh at all. A very smooth tuning and a laid back kind of tuning, yeah. Alright, so that's for the presence, and it goes even further down, right, in the mid treble, and that's where there's no sibilance, right? It's a very big dipper here, but the air goes back up, so it gives the overall treble a very airy feel, and it's got a very natural roll off. Okay, so that's fine. It's just that this big dip here makes the entire treble a very laid back and non-sibilant type of sound. Okay, so that's the overall tuning of this IEM, and what I hear is that it's very relaxed and casual type of tuning. It's warm sounding and some sort of fun, right? Is the genre that suits this is mostly rock and R&B and pop songs, yeah. And the overall presentation of the sound is more of a non-fatiguing listening experience. Okay, so if you are sensitive to treble, this is actually a very suitable IEM to go for, because it's got the most laid-back treble that I've heard. Okay, now let's compare this with another IEM, which is the Truvia Hola, and this Truvia Hola has got a pretty similar tuning, and this Truvia Hola, they sound pretty good, right? It's just that it does not sound as lean as the Piccolo, right? So let me just pull out the graph of the Truvia Hola, and you can see now Truvia Hola is the green line and the Piccolo is the blue line. So basically these two have very similar tuning, and it's just that the bass on the Truvia Hola is a bit more, it's about 5 dB more, which is quite a lot more. Same level of the mid bass and same level of the mids. At the same time, the Piccolo has got more energy and more bite for the treble, and it's a darker treble, right? It's more laid back as compared to the Hola, and it's got same amount of air for the treble. So when I listen to these two together, basically this one would give me a more of fun tuning, right? This one would sound a bit more lean, a bit more laid back, right? So overall, I mean, these two sound almost identical. It's not exactly the same, and the driver on this is also LCP, so both have almost the same type of technical performance in my books, and yeah, they sound almost the same. It's just that this one is, yeah, more fun. Okay, alright, so that's a very quick comparison with another IEM to let you guys know where this Tripowin Piccolo stand. It's actually a pretty good sounding IEM at the price of $35 US. Okay, alright, so that concludes my overall review for this Tripowin Piccolo. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video and learned something from this video, and if you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Alright, so that's it for now. I hope you guys have a great day ahead, and I'll see you again in my next video. Cheers.